Welcome back to our last part of the unit. Before we start, we want to let you know we will do the quiz at the end.
So, what are we waiting for? Let's begin.
You all must be thinking what happened to Yazid and his successors after the death of Hazrat Imam Hussain. Even though Hazrat Imam Hussain had been killed, the struggle for power and leadership continued. Yazid died in 683 after only 3 years as caliph and was succeeded by his son Muawiyah II, who lived for only few more months. When he died in 684, a succession struggle broke out, which led to a civil war, as there were many groups within Umayyads who started fighting for the power. Over time, Umayyad Caliphate began to weaken, and then Abdul Malik became a caliph during the civil war and slowly restored the Umayyad rule.
Umayyad rulers strengthened their rule and made changes in governance. They introduced new coins with Arabic inscription and promoted the use of Arabic. They used their military might and diplomacy to conquer surrounding territories. Under Umayyad rule, there were notable achievements in architecture and visual arts, which you can still see today in the impressive buildings of the Dome of the Rock. The Umayyad Mosque in Damascus and the desert castles throughout Syria and Jordan. Pottery, textiles, glasswork and metalwork were used to furnish these buildings. Artisans built on Byzantine and Sasanian styles, but their work took on distinctive characters of its own. Umayyad rulers also acted as patrons to poets, scholars, musicians, and their courts became places of culture and learning. Works of literature were translated from Greek and Pahlavi to Arabic, introducing the ideas and stories of other civilizations, such as the colorful tales of Kalila and Dimna, to Muslim lands.
The Umayyads survived for almost 90 years. During their reign, different groups came under Muslim rule. Over time, Arab Muslims began to interact with the local inhabitants of the new Umayyad territories. Many of these local communities became Muslims, and this led to questions about identity and equality. An increasing number of Muslims representing different groups came to oppose the Umayyad caliphs because of the way which they ruled. The caliphs were accused of being arrogant and impious, behaving more if they were kings than caliphs, and of failing to distribute wealth fairly. They were also criticized for discriminating against non-Arab Muslims and for following customs and practices that were not in keeping with Prophet's teaching. Meanwhile, scholars began to debate what it meant to be a Muslim and raised questions on other aspects of faith. They studied the Quran and the Hadith, seeking guidance in matters of daily life, law, and governance, giving rise to the development of fiqh, religious jurisprudence. Also, during Umayyad period, different views about leadership continued to be expressed. For the Shia and some other groups, the rightful leaders of the Muslim community had to be from the Prophet's family, though there were differences regarding who from the Prophet's family was the rightful Imam. There were also disagreements about who belonged to the Ahlul Bayt. For the Shia supporters, only the descendants of Hazrat Ali and Bibi Fatima were the Ahlul Bayt. For other groups, it included the Prophet's wider family. In the mid-8th century, the military commander Abu Muslim led a revolt against the Umayyads. His revolt was based on the call for leadership to return to the family of Prophet, from strong support from the Shia, who claimed to be from the extended family of the Prophet's uncle Hazrat Abbas behind him. Abu Muslim succeeded in overthrowing the Umayyads dynasty. This was the beginning of Abbasid period, which we shall explore in Unit 4 of the second volume of Muslim Societies and Civilization. Abbasids found an important caliphate of their own ruling from Baghdad, the Round City in Iraq. This era of Muslim history would stretch into the 13th century. So, we culminate Volume 1 of Muslim Societies and Civilization. We hope Jamaat was able to understand different aspects of Muslim history, starting from the advent of Islam in Arabia till the dynastic rule of Umayyads in Damascus. We shall explore Volume 2 of Muslim Societies and Civilization in our next Step Talking Book series. Stay tuned.